Welcome to the Inspired Riding Podcast. I'm your host, Beth Lauren Parrish. As a certified riding instructor, remote coach, and rapid transformational therapy practitioner, a powerful form of hypnotherapy, I'm here to remind you to slow down, trust your intuition, and really deeply listen to your horse. And this will make for the best co-creative dances possible, whether you're on the ground or connecting on their backs. Thank you so much for being here, and here we go. Hello there, Inspired Riders. I am so happy to be interviewing Michael Vermaas. Michael is a classical dressage trainer. He grew up near Rotterdam in the Netherlands and began riding at the age of 10. He moved with his family to Portugal at age 13 when his equestrian career began in earnest. He has been listed on Sylvia Loch's website as one of the top 15 classical dressage trainers in the world. While studying in Great Britain, he trained a horse that later was sold to Prince Phillip as an eventer. In 2014, he was IALHA Professional Horseman of the Year. He was also S Judge for working equitation and the 2019 national champion in the advanced level. I had the honor to take lessons with Michael when I lived outside of Austin, Texas, and I'm so pleased that he's on the podcast today. Well, Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to focus today on rider confidence. My first question for you is, what are some of the key elements you believe help riders to feel confident for riding?
Well, I think one of the main key elements is knowledge and practice. The more knowledge you acquire and the more you practice it, the more confident you will become in what you're doing. Apart from that, don't be scared to make mistakes. One has to learn from his mistakes. I find that nowadays, with the social media and people being very, very, very hard sometimes, is that people get insecure. You've got to be able to turn that off and don't be scared to make mistakes. Everybody's made mistakes. The biggest riders in the world have made mistakes, as long as you learn from them.
Absolutely, and that's such a great point. I know so many people compare themselves to others, and they're so worried about putting anything on social media or even talking about it. So I'm really
Absolutely.
glad.
But, social media, it could be such a good, and in many, many ways, it is such a good tool we can use. But unfortunately, humans seem to use it more to be negative and to hide their own shortcomings by making somebody else feel worse than they are. So it's a shame. It could be a better tool.
Absolutely. Well, I try to do my best, and I do this new hashtag, Real Life with Ponies. and I share what happens. Like some days it's a little bit awkward, and we just do our best. And like you said, we just keep learning from our mistakes, and I think that's the best way to go.
And that's something that will continue until the day you die. If your aim is to become perfection and to get it 100% right, then horses is the wrong sport, because we're never going to get to that 100%. It's our aim. We're aiming for it, but we will never reach it.
Yeah, it's that striving that really counts, because then you'll continue to reach for that knowledge and not let yourself get stagnant.
Exactly. And every horse is different. There's not two horses that are exactly the same. They're they're living beings. So you have to figure it out. I mean, you've got your basis, and then you've got to fine tune whatever the basis you find with the type of horse that you're dealing with.
Okay, so my next question is, what has helped you build confidence in yourself with riding or in life?
Okay, so I've been pretty fortunate that I've always been very good with sports. no matter what kind of sport I did, I would excel in it. But it would have to be individual sports. I was never very good at team sports for some reason or another. So I'm not really, I guess, a team player in that aspect. The only team I'm a good team player with is with horses. The only team I can really play with. So I never had much of a problem with confidence in the sporting aspect until 2015, where I had a bad accident and I ended up in the ICU for 2 weeks, and where I was told that my riding career was ended. I would never ride a horse again. And there, my confidence, of course, was shattered. And I kind of like had to start all over again. And it was kind of like I had to prove they were wrong. And nowadays, it's like I never had an accident before. But it was a hard road, which made me understand people's fears and lack of confidence better. So in that aspect, it actually made me a better trainer.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you if you wanted to talk about the accident, but I'm more interested in how you built your confidence up from that accident. Like, were there specific ways you did it, or you just went really slowly?
It was a lot was by feel. I was very fortunate. I got a horse in who was huge, by the way. I still have him because I ended up buying him because he got me back. So I think he'll live the rest of his days with me as gratitude. But I had this big 17.3 horse, warm blood, bouncy as anything, but a very, very kind, gentle soul. Although temperamental, I mean, he's not easy to ride, but he's very touchy, but he's not mean. He was very, very good. And it was like he felt that I was injured, so he took it really slow. It was really fun. So I started off with a lot of walking to start off with. And then in the walk started to do my lateral stuff. And we're talking about the time frame of a year just about. Because like I said, I was very scared because I was told by doctors, by nurses that my type of injury is a career-ending injury. And I would never ride again. And then I've met other people that had my kind of injury that really never rode again. They're still in pain and they can walk, but hardly. So I was very blessed. I was very lucky. But yeah, it started off very slowly and then bit by bit pushing yourself. And then how do you deal with the confidence thing when the fear kicks in? I mean, different people, different ways, right? Some people, you have to nurture them. You have to encourage them. Most people are like that. Some people, you've got to get their mind off it and then squeeze something in and they'll do it. And then they only realize it afterwards. And then, of course, you've got the other people, which is like you're in the military and you just tell them what to do and don't give it an option, which is a very small percentage nowadays. This is how they used to teach, of course, back in the 70s and the 80s when it was a lot of military people that were teaching. And it was like the army. Nowadays we don't because we know it doesn't work. I mean, if your fear is really, really bad, you're not going to just push them over it. You've got to find another way. So I was lucky I had people that helped me. Everybody was kind of like skeptical I was going to ride again because of my prognosis, which gave me a little bit more of a break, so to speak. And bit by bit, my confidence grew again. And then, of course, you're always going to be scared of like, well, what happens if I fall off? Do I break it again? And then that first or that second time that you get dumped, so I go like, oh, I can still move. I'm okay. So that even helped as a confidence building, which is strange to say, but it really did because you're scared to fall off because you might get hurt. And then you do fall off, and it's kind of like, yeah, it hurts. Falling off hurts. But after that, you stand up, and you're kind of like, no, it didn't hurt that bad. I mean, I'm okay. And that's of course, the big trick of course, you're always going to have in your mind a certain fear. Now, how do you do it? Some people, they face their fear. Me personally, I put it in compartments. So I compartmentalize it. And it goes to the back of my brain. And then I have that ability that when it jumps to the front of my brain, that I can put it back to my brain again. Which I don't know if it's a curse or if it's a blessing. Because sometimes it's like, yeah, it's great that I can do that. And other times it's like, look, don't be stupid. Don't ignore it just because you can. So it depends on people, really. What do they work? Other people, like I say, I mean, if they're doing something that's really worrying them, take it down a notch, go and do something else, and then try to touch it at a later stage, the same day or the next day. But don't try to force yourself, because that just backfires every single time. You cannot force yourself. When you want it that bad that you force, you end up not doing it right anyway. It has to come spontaneously more, like. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I've actually decided I'm taking away the thought of like cowgirl up. You know, I'm not going to push through anymore because that doesn't feel good to me or the horse.
No, exactly. And then, you know, the horses feel it as well. I mean, the thing is, you can try to fool yourself, but you're not going to fool your horse. They're very sensitive to what we feel, and they react to that. So sometimes it's better to just take a step back and get back to it in a later stage.
That's beautiful. And that's what I tell a lot of my riders. There's no problem with saying, hey, let's go slower, let's dial it back, and just go at the pace that feels good to you. There's no race.
Exactly. I mean, you know, of course, in my earlier days, I tried to hide it by getting angry or getting frustrated, whatever. But again, it doesn't work with horses. Frustration or anger doesn't work with horses.
No.
And it just backfires. So there's no point of doing it. Because you actually get worse results instead of better results.
Exactly. And yeah, the horses are so sensitive. They know everything that's going on within you, even if you don't realize it. That's
absolutely. And I mean, you've got some, I mean, if people is a lucky person at that stage, because it's not with every single horse, but if you work enough with horses and enough people that have worked with horses, they'll find that 2 or 3 horses in their career, that is like they are twin souls. It's like you ride them, and even though they aren't trained up to a certain standard or a certain level, it's like they can read your mind to the extent that if I'd be riding and I imagine there's something scary on the road and there's nothing there, the horse would still be scared. And on the other side, if there is something scary and I go, it's okay, we're fine, they'll go through fire for you because they trust you. And those connections exist. They're hard to find. It's not everybody that's going to get it, but they're more common than you think.
I love that. I love that you call it the twin flame, the twin soul, and a lot of people call it your heart horse as well. I love that you had a gentle giant to take care of you in the beginning, and I was blessed to have a 16-3 hand gentle giant that also took care of me after my injuries. There's something to that. I kind of joke that there's more real estate to hold on to, so you can feel more secure in a sense.
Right.
You know, rather than the little squirrely.
No, because 17-3 is kind of like, that's a long way down. I prefer something that would be 14-2.
That's true too, but I always.
If something goes wrong, it's a shorter way down.
Yeah.
But I don't think that actually entered my mind.
I think for me, it's just, I know that I've always come off ponies faster than I have horses because they're squirrely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
When they want to dump you, they're so much faster than a big horse.
But I love that this horse sensed that you were injured, you said, and went slow for you. That I think that's a key point for people if they're building their confidence back up, is to find a schoolmaster or a confidence builder type horse.
Or find the right horse. I mean, and it doesn't. So we always go for the schoolmaster. But I remember a big story from when I was in my around 18, was it 18? Yeah, 18, 19 years old. And I had this client, and he had a Lusitano stallion that used to be a bullfighter and then got hit by the bull, so he was scared of bulls. Anytime that there was a sound of a cow mooing or whatever, this horse would go into panic mode. Now, this horse was pretty temperamental to ride. And one day I was schooling it for the guy or whatever, and this little girl who must have been 3 or 4 years old came by. And the parents asked me if she could sit on the horse. And I'm going, well, if I hold it and I lead it, he'll be fine. So I put the girl on the horse, and the horse just totally transformed into the biggest donkey you could ever see. It was watching where it was stepping. It was slow. It was incredible. It was so incredible that the owner of the horse eventually gave the horse to the parents because they had a farm.
Oh, wow.
And the girl and the horse, they just lived. It was really, really, and this was a tiny 4-year-old kid, and the horse was a stallion. I mean, he was a really, really well-behaved stallion. He might as well have been a gelding, to the state that you could actually breed a mare, put a saddle on him and ride him, and there would be no difference. He wouldn't scream, he wouldn't strike, but he was a nervous horse. But with the girl, this horse became so docile and so calm. And so the girl really had a gift with that horse, to the fact that the owner of the horse actually donated the horse to the little girl.
Oh, what a heartwarming
so I believe
story.
In things like that because I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
That's awesome. I love that so much. Thank you for sharing that.
That's not a problem. I mean, I've had it myself as well. I mean, I must have been 13, 14. And I think it was my first heartbreak. I didn't have a horse of myself at that time. And there was this horse at the stables at that time I was riding that was sold. And this was in Portugal. And the horse was sold to go to Germany. And nobody could ride the horse. And nobody could handle the horse. The horse was also aggressive, etc., etc. Yet with me, there was this bond. I could sit on him. I could ride him. I could lead him. If he was in his stall and he was laying down, he'd stay down and I could go up to him. But nobody else could do it. And then they took him to Germany and I lost contact with him. But that was the first horse that broke my heart. Because there was a connection. He should have been 9. My friends didn't want to buy it. So he ended up going to Germany. But there are horses with a certain connection that you have. And if you're lucky, you get quite a few of them. And if you're a little less lucky, you get one in your life. And if you're unlucky, then you never get that kind of connection. But they definitely exist.
They do. I'm sorry you had that heartbreak. That must have been hard at that age.
It was hard at that age. It was.
It's hard at any age, but still, especially if that was your first love. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm 59 now and still remember it. So it was pretty impressive.
Well,
it was pretty deep at that time.
When you have that connection, I feel like time doesn't exist. You can just come right back to that energy and
exactly.
Connect to that horse.
Like you'll have horses you have in training and you haven't seen them for years and you see them years later and they recognize you, and they love on you and it's just good to know. It's just wonderful. They're so genuine.
Yeah.
I'm always like, mean horse doesn't really exist. The mean horse is man-made.
Absolutely.
There is not one horse that is mean by nature.
Yeah, I was thinking now, I know Indy would remember you. I have this very sensitive thoroughbred. For those who don't know, he's the one that I actually popped off of and tore my knee because we had a different saddle and he was feeling real sensitive with it and didn't like it. And I did not trust my instincts that day where I thought I should stop, but I just kept going a little bit more. And sure enough, he freaked out and I landed on the ground. But before that, we were doing really well. And Michael really helped us get going again. And it was really funny. It was one of those moments where he rode him for the first time and I'm watching him do the most beautiful lateral work and flying changes. And that's when I said that thing to myself that a lot of people say, it's not the horse, it's me.
Right?
He's doing so beautifully with Michael. And so that gave me the confidence, just watching you ride him so beautifully. It gave me the confidence to know that I could do it too. And that was really cool.
Awesome.
So I always appreciate that about you. So,
Right.
yeah.
And it's like I say, I mean, it's not magic. Anybody can do it with dedication and an open mind.
Yes.
Again, like I told you on one of the posts, if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect your horse to believe? You've got to believe in yourself for your horse to believe in you as well.
Yep. And that's why I called my book Your Horse Believes in You. So it reminds you.
There you go. Very good.
So it reminds you, yes, you can believe in yourself because your horse really does believe in you on an energetic level. So
they count on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So, Michael, do you have any stories you'd like to share about yourself or a client around the process of building confidence for riding, and how did it unfold? I mean, obviously, we talked about your story. Are there any other ones that come to mind that you'd like to share?
I haven't really thought about it yet. I've had people that had bad accidents as well, bad falls or other accidents, and that were actually scared of horses. And with some, I'd help them. And I can, and some, the fear was that deep that it was beyond my possibility. But in general, it's just, like I say, it's a lot of patience, and it's not over pushing them. I think that in today's world, there's too many trainers that try to over push their students. And I don't know whether it's because they want the student to excel or whether they want to show how good they are. I have no idea. But I don't think it works. Some people need to be pushed a little bit, but only bit by bit. If you push them too hard, they break. Now, in Europe, of course, to be a horse riding instructor, you have to be qualified. So you are going to school, you do have to study. And even then, you still have trainers that haven't got that human touch. They're clueless, and they think that they can just... And not everybody wants to go to the Olympics. The majority of people are recreational riders. They want to have fun, they want to enjoy it. If they want to enjoy it, then that's great. You can still do it correctly, but really enjoy it. But if the journey takes a little bit longer because you have to tone it down a little bit, then so be it. There's no rush. There's no like, oh, I've got to get 40 years from now, I've got to go to the Olympics. No, if it takes 2 years, it takes 2 years. If it takes 4 years, it takes 4 years. If it takes your whole lifetime, it takes your whole life. But enjoy the journey. You've got to enjoy the journey every single step. And again, when you come to that point where you're not starting to enjoy, take it a step back. Go back to where you were enjoying it. It's again one of the things that really annoys me with dressage nowadays. Is that I say, look, 90% of the people that ride dressage, they do it to enjoy themselves. But yet I go to a show and the atmosphere is so negative and so heavy that I hate going to shows because it actually depresses me. Yeah. I ride and I go to the hotel. I can't stay there and it's the same for the horses. They feel that same heavy atmosphere. It should be fun. Enjoy yourself. Don't worry about what other people think about you, what they say about you. The judge is going to judge you, but even the judge is their opinion. One judge is not the same as another judge. If it's a bad score, it's a bad score. Look what they tell you what was wrong, work on it, and then next time you'll get a better score. Don't take it like I'm a failure. No, it's not, because you're not a failure. You just have to work on what they like to see and then try to improve on that. I mean, I know a lady, she's been doing first level for 5 years on the same horse, 6 years on the same horse. Always had low scores, like low 50s, real 52, 53, 55. And then suddenly she started to get scores that were slightly above the 60. And now she is doing the same thing with second level. And it might take her a year, and it might take her 10 years, and maybe she'll never get a good score in the second level. But she enjoys what she does, and she is actually definitely one of the people that I look up to in that aspect, because I don't think I would have gone on for 6-7 years with really bad scores and just continue putting my money into showing and continue doing it. But she prevailed. And that's what and she didn't care what other people thought about her and what other people said about her. It was just her and her hard work, the one she liked, and practice, and eventually she got what she wanted.
Yeah, that's such a gorgeous example of perseverance, and especially to enjoy the journey. I love that so much.
Yes, it's the journey that people have to enjoy. It's not so much. It's okay to have goals, but they have to be realistic goals. And if you don't get the goal today, you might get it tomorrow. And if you don't get it tomorrow, maybe you'll get it next week. You can eventually get there. And if you don't get there, if that's a possibility, because that's also a possibility, at least you enjoyed the journey. But if you put that pressure on your own mind, you stop enjoying it, because you only want to be at that end result. And you're never going to get to the end result unless you let go. It has to come to you and flow. It's not by trying on it. It's not by, I'll keep on trying, no. Sometimes less is more, that we say in the horse world. Sometimes we try less and we get a better result. We over try and we actually get worse results, because again, the horse feels the tension. And as we get tense, the horse gets tense. And the art is to try to stay relaxed and make the horse relaxed and make the horse think. And of course, when the horse gets tense, then their natural instinct is flight mode. Their brain turns off and they just go, I've got to get the hell out of doors. So then you've got to slow it down, take it back a step. If it's not for yourself, it's for your horse, to where they put on their thinking cap again. And then you try again.
Yes, it's the most amazing thing to get to that level where you can appreciate each moment and then bring your horse back to your own calm state. And I think if people were to cultivate that more within themselves, they can see they could get to whatever result they want with their horses faster. So by slowing down, you actually get there faster.
Yes, yes. I mean, a lot of times we are ourselves' biggest problem.
Yeah.
It's not the horse that's the problem. It's us.
Right.
We have this time frame. We have to be there at that and that date or at that and that time. But the horse doesn't have that time frame. And they don't live on a time frame. And they'll do it when they're ready.
Yes.
I mean, just recently I've got this lady. She bought this horse up in the mountains in Colorado. She said, oh, the horse is really, really nice. And she brought it down to Texas, and the horse is totally nuts. And I said, how high up in the mountains was it? She goes, oh, it's pretty high. I said, well, don't you think there's a difference of oxygen level? Now he's lower, and now suddenly he's... And he was a bomb. To the stage to where we were thinking, like, well, you paid a lot of money for this horse, but you're going to have to sell it at a loss, maybe, because it's not safe. And now, 5 months later, because she persisted, it shifted, like, its mentality, and now he's really been really, really nice for the last 2 months. Like, he's thinking, we really slowed it down.
Okay.
He doesn't shy any, because the biggest problem was he'd shy of anything. You'd be walking and you could walk past it 1,000 times and he'd still shy of it. And dramatically, like, he'd throw himself to the side to where there was no way that lady was going to stay on. I mean, there was 2 or 3 times that I thought I was going to get off. Because he'd get me but with just slowing it down, calming down, and perseverance at the same time, this horse is now actually a joy to ride. and hopefully he stays like that.
That's beautiful. And I'm sure he's acclimated to the elevation now.
Right?
That's helpful.
Oh, he was. I mean, I have no idea what he said. He was so nice in Colorado, and he got here, and he was like, even leading him by hand, he'd explode because everything would make him be scared. And the only thing I can contribute to is more oxygen. Higher up in the mountains, oxygen levels go down, and as he came back down, those oxygen levels came up, and it just fried his brain.
That makes so much sense, and I would not have thought of that right away. So that was really smart of you.
Right? Well, physically there was nothing wrong with him. We had his eyes checked. We had we scoped him. Okay, he had some ulcers, but the ulcers wouldn't create what. Of course, he doesn't have them anymore. But even the ulcers wouldn't create the intensity of how this horse was shying.
Yeah.
He was so nervous, and now he's great. I mean, he's out with other horses. He's playing around. And he was alone. He was with anything was like, leave me alone. And he literally shivered.
Oh, what a beautiful transformation. I love that he calmed down and feels like he can be himself now.
Right?
Yeah. And that's what it really takes is if people were to take the time and slow down and realize, these horses just need us to listen to them.
Exactly. The thing is, it's a human treat, isn't it? I mean, we're always in a hurry. Everything has to be done quickly nowadays. But horses don't comply to that. Horses don't work that way. It's like, if we're talking about 40 years ago, a Grand Prix horse would be starting to do Grand Prix at around 12. And then they'd retire from high competition at 16, 18, some even went on to 19. And they'd be used as a lesson horse or a schoolmaster, and at 26 they'd still be able to be ridden and enjoyed by people. And nowadays we got horses going into the Grand Prix ring at 8 or 9 years old. But the problem is, by the time they're 16, they're broke. Because not only mentally is it too much for them, physically it's also not right. So by the time they're 16, they're done. They're lame, they're crippled. There's hardly any high competing horse nowadays that you see that goes up to 26 and you can go, I'm still going to ride him. Because he's sound and he's, and he's happy. Now you'll have horses that are 26, but they're crippled. They can't be ridden anymore. So we tend to push too hard too soon, and it's just a human treat, but it doesn't work.
No, and hopefully.
So if you want a horse for longevity, then start off slowly. Take your time.
Hopefully, more people will start getting that message.
I hope so. I really hope so. But I think in that aspect, we are actually pedaling backwards instead of going forwards.
Yeah. I agree. I would really love to see everyone just take a big collective breath. Just chill the F out.
Right?
And just enjoy their horses.
I can understand it. We were living in a fast world nowadays, and everything is based on money, and keeping horses definitely is not cheap.
Yeah.
But it's an option you take, and when you take that option, then you take that responsibility. You've got to carry that responsibility.
Yeah, I have.
And not go wrong.
I have a really big goal for instructors for the future to encourage them to explain to especially their beginner students and the adults, the parents and the staff, and pretty much just create a whole system where it becomes more holistic, where if the horse is not feeling quite right that day, then it becomes a horse lesson and you do whatever you need to do with the horse, even if it's just hand walking and learning things in hand. So it's not always a pushing into it has to be a riding lesson. Oh, my kid takes riding lessons. Like, no, it's horse lessons. You learn how to take care of another living being. And I think that can
Exactly.
still be profitable and more enjoyable, and then it'll help the horse in the long run.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, they're like us. Just like if you're not in the mood to ride, don't ride.
Yeah.
But sometimes the horse is not in the mood either. Then you've got to respect that.
Exactly.
It's not, it's not the old days where, well, you're a tool. You've got to do what I tell you to do and suck it up. And, you're my transportation or you carry my stuff. Or we don't have that anymore. That we have them now for pleasure. So enjoy them. But realize they're animals and they have feelings too. And they're going to be days that they're off. Well, if they have an off day, then don't push it. There's no point. It's not going to make them go any better, or it's not going to give you any brownie points if you just push through it. It's actually going to give you probably better results if you say that day, okay, well, I'll leave you alone and we'll do it tomorrow. And the results might actually work better than when you pushed it through.
And I'm here to tell you that's what's
the next day.
That's exactly what happens with Pepper and I. I totally took that mentality now because, we live on the property with him. So if he doesn't come up to me to want to play, then I'm not riding him that day. It's the coolest feeling because then the days where he's like, no, thank you, instead of me getting upset, I go, okay, no worries, I love you. And then he's like, oh, you're not mad at me? I'm like, no, it's fine.
Exactly.
And then he comes back and he gives me more.
Yeah, I always say they're like 14-year-old or 16-year-old boy. So you say black, they say white.
Yes.
And then if you say, no, it's black, they say, no, it's white. But if you go, okay, if you would say it's white, it's white. Then they go, oh, hold on, that doesn't work, because now you're not argumentative. Now I need your help. So if I say, I want you to do this, and they go, well, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. I go, okay, well, do it this way. But as long as you do it, I want this to be done. And how you do it, I don't care. Then suddenly they go, yeah, but I can't do this by myself. I need your help. But if you go, I'm here to help you, they go, I don't need your help. I know this. Don't tell me what to do. I know what to do. And if you go, okay, then show me that you can do it. Then they go, no, but I need your help. And that's what you want. You want them to be open for your help. You cannot force yourself to help a rider or a horse. But a horse is really like a 14 or a 16-year-old boy. Everything is backwards. Everything you say, they'll counter with no. And I guess that's why I get on well with horses, because I'm a little bit like that. I've always been like that. If people ask me stuff, I'll bend over backwards for them. I couldn't be in the army because if people tell me to do something, then I do the opposite, just to be difficult.
Totally get that. Yeah, you want to do it out of your own free will. And I remember this lesson you gave me with Indy when his head would go up. You're like, okay, just go up with him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, well, that's so simple.
Everything has to be their idea.
Yeah.
Or it's our idea, but they have to think that it's their idea. It's a little bit manipulation, but it is what it is. We cannot fight them. They're bigger than us. They're stronger than us. And if you do it by fighting, you're either going to end up hurt or you're going to have a horse that's brain dead.
Yeah.
And that has no personality and becomes like a machine. And do we ride because we want a machine, or do we ride because they're animals and we actually enjoy the interaction with them? So again, it's by trial and error, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
Love it. Yeah, you just have to be creative and be a really supportive dance partner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you wish every rider would believe about themselves?
I wish every rider would believe in themselves. Because if they believe in themselves, then the sky is the limit. I wish that riders wouldn't listen too much to negative input. I wish some of the trainers would be a little less negative. But for people themselves, no, believe in yourself. Don't become arrogant that you believe that much in yourself. There's no point being arrogant about it. Be humble, but believe in yourself. If you put your mind to it, anybody can do what they want. And that's very, very hard for some people to understand.
Yes. And a lot of that's conditioning from when they're younger. And I've been really blessed to be able to help people through that, through the hypnotherapy sessions that I offer. And then once they can unravel what they've been conditioned and programmed into as children, then they can go, wait, I really can believe in myself now. And it's a beautiful transformation to see that.
It makes life so much easier.
Absolutely.
And it makes life so much better.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I've got the ability to compartmentalize stuff. So negative people, they can't get to me, because the more negative they are, I don't get angry at them. I'll just go, oh yeah, I'm crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't let them get to me. I just brush it off. Like, I don't let them get me down. I don't get annoyed at them, because that seems to trigger a lot of people as well. They either want to get you to get angry, or they want to see you break down. But if you just manage to stay who you are and go, well, that's what you think of me. Well, okay, I can't change your mind. Tough. Your loss, not mine.
Yeah.
Then you make your own life better. Live your life for yourself. Live your life for your family. But don't live the life for the person up the road who you're trying to impress. It doesn't matter.
No, there's a lot of power in being indifferent. So
exactly.
That. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the same with horses, you know. I mean, I have horses that approach me and they go, why does this horse approach you? And I go, because I'll walk up to them and I'll feel something and I'll become indifferent and go, look, if you want to come, great. If you don't want to come, don't worry. I'm fine with it. You don't have to come. They feel it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like you've got to put your emotions on zero. You don't want to be down on your emotion. You don't want to be too up in your emotion. You want to be like neutral. And that's when horses kind of like become curious and go, oh, what's this? I want to know who you are. But if you're too hyper, they kind of like, it shies them off. And then sometimes when you're too low, they go, no, you're insecure, I'm staying away from you as well. But then you've got some horses that will come to a person that's insecure. Like, I had a foal once. I don't breed, but I bred once. And I had this foal. And I swear, if there's somebody that came that was scared of horses, she'd be all in their business. And if it was anybody else, you go like, leave me alone, I'm playing around, I don't really want to interact. So again, you've got different kind of personality in horses as well, right? It's the same with dogs, really. If you're scared, then some horses will growl at you, and other horses go, oh. Other dogs will come up to you and go, oh, I'm not mean, I'm friendly, I'm whatever. It's just animals in general. They've got this great judging system in them.
Yeah. They like to feel when someone's being congruent inside and out. And when you get to that 0 point, we call that the still point. It's what we do, especially when you do Tai Chi and you get yourself really centered and grounded in your body. It's almost like the horse is going, oh, yeah, I can meet you in this space. Like, this is where we've been waiting for you, you know?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I was that hyper child, and so I would get the horse really amped up. So all the really energy conserving horses that wouldn't move, we'd be flying around on the jump course, and my trainer's like, how is she doing that? I'm like, I was just so excited to ride. So I had to start doing Tai Chi to like calm my energy, and it really makes a difference. I will literally just start doing a couple moves, and the pony will come from the other end of the property through the woods to see what I'm doing.
Right.
It's amazing. It's like a magnet. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So fun. So fun. I'm glad you said that. So, Michael, how can people get in touch with you? Are you still open for more lessons or clinics or anything like that? Or?
I still do. Okay. I'm on Facebook, of course, Michael Vermaas. My number is on there as well. My email is michaelvermaas@atnt.net. Okay. I should have a website up and running sometime again. At the moment, as I'm not scrambling for making a living, the website is a little bit on the side burner. It's kind of, I come home, I really don't want to sit behind the computer. I just want to chill and relax. But yeah, Facebook, telephone, email. If they Google my name, it will come up.
Okay, great. Cool. Well, to finish up, just for fun, if you were a horse, Michael, how would you describe yourself?
Oh, I'd be so difficult. Again, the same thing. If they would be like some of these riders that would try to force me to do something, I'd be a rear bucker. I would get them off. I would do whatever I could not to do it. If I get an insecure person on top of me, I'd be careful where I'd step, and I'd take care of them, because that's just totally how I am. I always am for the underdog, not for the favorites. It's the same with my colleagues. If I meet colleagues that are humble, I'm fine with them. If I meet colleagues that are big-headed, I just won't get on with them, because I hate big-headed people. Stay humble, and it doesn't matter if you're talking to somebody that just started riding yesterday, or somebody that started riding 50 years ago, or somebody that's 10 times better than you are. Just treat them all the same. Be kind. And as a horse, yeah, I would definitely that kind of horse that goes like, oh, I'll toddle around with a little girl that's 4 years old, even though I'm a stallion. Oh, you think you're hot shit? Let me show you. So as a horse, that would be me.
I love it. That's awesome. Was there anything else you want to share that I didn't ask you?
No, I think that's been great.
Well, I really appreciate your time. I absolutely loved having you on my podcast, and hopefully you'll want to do it again one day.
Yeah, sure. No problem whatsoever.
Cool. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this interview as much as I did. Remember to lead with kindness for yourself and for your horse. And may the horse be with you always.